there's got to be redemption for people like me that have just so many wounds, and it's hard to imagine that God could do something with this. That's what we all are hoping for.
Mirrors can't hide the memories I've buried inside, but maybe the passing of time would be enough. Tired of pretending that I could just skip to the ending without ever really accepting the things I've done. My story's just begun. Every scar, every mistake, part of a work of art that isn't complete. And oh, watch the beauty unfold. I'm learning to see where I've been in the light of love. And no, there's no reason to run, 'cause I wouldn't be who I am without who I was. This is redemption. Right in this moment, no shadows could keep me from hoping. You're turning my past into promise, like you always do. You always do. And oh, watch the beauty unfold. I'm learning to see where I've been in the light of love. Oh, no, there's no reason to run, 'cause I wouldn't be who I am without who I was. This is redemption. Oh, this is redemption. Turn my heart to gold, burn me in fire, watch me fly higher, better than before. There's still so much more. And oh, watch the beauty unfold. I'm learning to see where I've been in the light of love. Oh, no, there's no reason to run, 'cause I wouldn't be who I am without who I was. This is redemption. Oh, whoa, oh, oh. Oh, whoa, oh, oh. Oh, whoa, oh, oh. This is redemption.
So Taylor, tell us a little bit about your musical journey. Like, how did you get from maybe, making music or writing some things when you were young to where you are now, performing, touring, all the things?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I wanted to be like Taylor Swift.
Nice.
I grew up in the first album era of Taylor Swift. And so I thought she was the coolest thing. And I was like, oh, Taylor and Taylor. Like, if we could be friends, I would love to be friends. But yeah, I grew up writing about boys and thinking like, oh, I want to be a country singer. And then I went to Franciscan University in Steubenville, which is a very charismatic Catholic university, and they have something called the Steubenville conferences, the youth conferences, and I was super blessed to be a part of the worship leading team for the Steubenville conferences. And from that point on, I think God just kind of shifted something in my heart. And it's not that I don't still love, and even like sometimes I will write, songs that are just like, I don't know, part of my life or different experiences that are not so much like Christian based. But I remember particularly one night when I was leading worship and just looking out into the crowd and like seeing all the people that were like lifting their hands to the Lord and seeing God just transforming people through the use of these words, these prayers that we were singing. And I was like, wow, music has so much power in and of itself, right? It can change hearts. But then when you use music as a prayer and you can lead people in prayer, I mean, it is one of the most amazing things to witness, is like God just like changing and transforming people's hearts through lyrics, through prayer. And so I was like, man, I really want to do more of that. Like I want kind of my music to do that for people. And so I kind of ended up just being asked to do a lot of different music events that were more like Christian based or worship leading. And just one thing led to another, really. I was a youth minister for a couple of years after that. And during that time, I would leave on the weekends, come back from my youth group, and I would like go leave on the weekends to go do music or do a concert or do a worship leading event, and then come back and be a youth minister. And it was all kind of just intertwined. And I was like, man, I really want to make this my full-time thing. Like I want to do this, So I ended up leaving youth ministry after a couple years and kind of still working within that space, but in a different way. And then now, before I was a lot more concentrated on like, okay, I'm writing a lot of worship stuff. Now I kind of just let God lead me into different ways. Like all of it's kind of like related to him and like to how he's working in and through my life, like just in the daily experiences that I have. But it's not necessarily like, okay, I'm going to write a worship song. I'll just write a song and it'll be kind of like about an experience that I'm having with the Lord or in my life, or how I'm seeing him work, or sometimes it is just a prayer. So I wouldn't necessarily call myself a worship artist, but definitely like I love worshiping God through the lyrics that I write, through the words that I sing, and I love sharing with people the ways that he's moving in my life. It's been such a gift. So.
Yeah, and it seems like there's sort of been this kind of like beautiful transition in the acceptance of like your music as prayer, but also like your life as prayer, and how you're like living your life through the prayer of redemption or giving up or surrender. So how do you think you incorporate that prayer into your music when, now it's just an expression of who you are, it's the songs you write, and it is a prayer? How do you live like your life as that prayer along with your music and the lyrics?
Yeah. I mean, gosh, life has been, especially, I know I was talking to you earlier, life has been changing so much for me recently, just ups and downs, like not ups and downs, but just so many twists and turns that just God has taken me all throughout my life, and especially in these past couple of years. But in every little moment, like there is an opportunity for grace, there's an opportunity for God to speak. And so I think that even now as a mom, now that I'm a mom and just recently a mom of two, I have to find little moments. I don't have time to find big, long, drawn out moments. Like in the times that I used to be able to spend like, an hour in adoration, or, time on a Thursday night to go to a praise and worship event and like really sing my heart out. Like I don't have that time anymore, but I think that it is so beautiful that you can make your life a prayer, a living prayer. You could make your life a song, and that's what I really want to do with the gifts that God has given me, because I know he has given me some things that I can share with other people. It's like finding those little moments to invite him in and say like, Lord, where are you moving? Where are you speaking here in this moment where my daughter's throwing a temper tantrum? Like, are you teaching, like, teach me patience, like right now in this moment. And it's been really beautiful because it's a lot more practical than it used to be. Because it used to be like, God, like, what are you doing? Like, I feel like things were so much more unclear before I found my vocation to marriage, and now as a mother. Now that I like am in and living in my vocation, I'm like, you are calling me right here. Like, this is where you're calling me, and I'm just going to try to find you in these little spaces in my 5-minute morning offering that I get before the kids all wake up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just like taking those moments, and then oftentimes those moments will turn into a song that I can then share with other people, and hopefully other people can then enter in and relate and sing it back to the Lord, I guess. Yeah.
And even the 2 songs that you performed, This Is Redemption and You Take Care of Everything. This Is Redemption you wrote, very early on before you were married. And then you Can Take Care of Everything is now, like more recent. That change is so interesting. Like if you can speak to almost with This Is Redemption, like the act of moving through acceptance in that is redemption. Like it seems like that song is sort of like that rallying cry for, no, this act of acceptance of who you are and who you were in past sins, that is redemption.
Yes.
And then now with it's like the acceptance has happened and you will take care of everything now. So how... Maybe there's a story. It feels like there's a story.
There's lots of different stories.
So maybe you can tell us a story about how that even...
Sure. So This Is Redemption, I want to say, I actually wrote that song when I moved to Nashville. And I had moved to Nashville with a ton of fresh wounds of just like sins, things that I had been dealing with in my life that were really holding me back from like giving my heart fully to the Lord and like allowing him to heal me in a lot of different places that I really needed healing. And I ended up moving to Nashville during that year, just with a lot of fresh wounds. And I remember I went into that song was actually a co-write with me and two other friends of mine, Ricky Vasquez and Simon Dumas, and we wrote that song together. But I came there with this idea of like, my gosh, like there's gotta be redemption for people like me that have just so many wounds, and it's hard to even like imagine that God could do something with this, right? Like you have all this pain, all this just your past, like things that you've done, things that you've dealt with, like how could God redeem this? But like that is redemption. It's like that's the redemption story, is God taking the worst things and making them the best things. Like, right? Like what? That's crazy. And that's just like who he is. And it's interesting because This Is Redemption is actually, it's not as obvious or like overtly like, oh, in your face about God. Because I think like everyone in this world can relate to like a redemption story. Right. Like well, that's what we all are hoping for, is that redemptive story. But ultimately it leads back to Christ because like he's the author of that redemption. So that's kind of how that came about. And that song honestly was like a catalyst into a lot of healing for me, because then that very year I met my husband. I experienced so much of the Lord's healing during that year. I went on a dating fast. Woo! What is wrong with like Catholics in the dating fast? Like, I don't know. But yeah, like went on a dating fast. Took some time to heal my heart, and then I met my husband and we got married, and then now we have 2 kids. And so much has happened since then. But yeah, that was like the catalyst for me, for my personal, just like, healing and redemption story, I guess you could say. And then this second song that I played, Take Care of Everything. It's actually based on the Surrender Novena. I don't know, have you ever done the Surrender Novena?
No, I've never done it.
It's amazing.
It seems scary.
Yeah, it's a little scary because it's like, oh my gosh, I have to surrender everything. But it's actually amazing because sometimes like saying the words, they like force you to do it, to do the thing. But yeah, so I've done that novena several times in my life, and one of them was with my husband while he was deployed. And so that was just, again, like little moments that God gives us throughout our lives to surrender and to move deeper and to go further into his heart and everything. As a mother now, where it's just, again, like it's a different kind of hard. Like deployment was really hard, but this is like the daily grind of like just trying to get through one more day as a mother. And yeah, it's just those little moments of like, Lord, I'm going to give you everything because I can't do it. Like I can't do it. Without you, I cannot do this. Kind of like in 2 different places in my life, for sure. But
they show the journey. They really have these sort of.
They show a journey, and they're relevant at different points, right? Like, as all of us can experience those themes or those like kinds of prayers in our life, like in different. Yeah, that's why I think songs are so cool. It's like it can bring you back, or it can take you somewhere else, somewhere new. Yeah. So,
Well, it's been a pleasure to hear you live and in acoustic. So thank you so much.
oh, it's been a gift. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I close my eyes, turn away from my fear, knowing that you are here to stay. No evil scheme can pull me from your hands, joining you in the dance of trust. No, I cannot see. I know not what may come, but I will keep my sights on your love. Jesus, I surrender myself to you. It's all that I can do. You take care of everything. Jesus, I fall into your arms in the midst of the greatest storm. You take care of everything, of everything. Mold my heart, making it one with yours. Lord, may your will be done in me. I believe the troubles I face will fade. You say do not be afraid, so I am not afraid, no. Jesus, I surrender myself to you. It's all that I can do. You take care of everything. Jesus, I fall into your arms in the midst of the greatest storm. You take care of everything, of everything. Not a single day, nor a moment past escapes your loving gaze. You make straight my path, so I am confident in my weakness, 'cause you're made perfect. All I have to do is rest. Jesus, I surrender myself to you. It's all that I can do. You take care of everything. Jesus, I fall into your arms in the midst of the greatest storms. You take care of everything, of everything.
Cut.
Cool.